Hi guys, ako nga pala si Ramil Magbo from IT2102, and today I will summarize all chapters in this video. I hope you like it and I hope you enjoyed watching it. Okay, so in this chapter 1, um, we began this chapter with a look at the importance of the network ideas or the network models, including the reasons for their model nature. A look at the OSI model stressed the importance of understanding the concept layer communications, protocols, data units, and the function of each layer. Do not underestimate the importance of remembering not only the various functions of each, so that the protocols, data units, services, types of equipment found at each layers. Look at the TCP or the IP models provided a comparison with the OSI model, including the mappings between the layers of each, examining the data or the encapsulation process, help to provide perspective on how a real network protocols goes about preparing data for network transmissions. Finally, an overview of the Cisco network design model provided insights into perspective the proper design of hierarchical networks. And then, in the chapter 2, it tackles about the in chapter 2 it tackles about the difference between the local and wide area networks. This followed by a look at the different types of equipment commonly found on networks, including repeaters, hubs, bridge, switches, and routers. So, our look at equipment focus not only on their functions, but also focus on the relationship of the or in the OSI model. So we covered the equipment related to the concept of the broadcast and the collisions domains. A look at network transmissions method provided a perspective on the three different mechanisms used to transmit data. The first one is the unicast, multicast, and the broadcast. This was followed by an overview of network cabling that include information on cable, properties, and maximum length. So, we also look at the varying crossover and straight up TP cables to connect both similar and different port types. A look at media access methods provide an overview, contention tokens, passing and falling and claiming the relative advantage and disadvantage of the environments. So, in this chapter 3, it is tackled because layer 2 switching that is included look at how switch segments network into a number of smaller. So, as well as the switch makes full duplex or communication possible. Was followed by the store and forward cut through in the Cisco 1900 series fragments free. And then look at the redundancy and loop avoidance, explain the benefits having the multiple paths on the bridge or switches network, but also the potential problems that this introduced in the broadcast storms. So that the process by which a broadcast storms happens was also discussed step by step. And then in chapter 4, in this chapter, tackles about the TCP protocol suites, and this include the protocols that make up TCP in the way in which they are related to the OSI layer or the OSI model. A look of the network layer protocols provided an overview of IP packets and addressing, the way in which ARP is used to map IP addresses to MAC addresses. So as well as the ICMP provides error reporting diagnostic information. Examination of protocols that transport layer provided an overview of both TCP and UDP, including the header structures. So, TCP provided insights into port numbers, how connections are defined, how they are terminated, and an introduction to UDP provides perspective on how it differs from the TCP. So, in chapter 5 is IP addressing basics that calculate or including the overview of the binary and decimal conversion process. So it will continue with introduce or introduction to classical IP addressing, where we outlined how the five classes of addressing are identified and the number of hosts that each addresses range supports. And then the chapter 5 or the chapter 6 began in the overview of each ports that having including the numbering, physical connectors, and characteristics. It also tackles about the auto serial ports, including the explanation of communications and the physical layer communication standards that are used to connect between these devices. And then the purpose of the console and auxiliary ports was look at the next. And then chapter 7, it is extended the setup mode was used to assign the router its initial configuration parameters, including the hostname, passwords, and interface and IP address. Configuration from the iOS commands line was looked up next, beginning with the process of logging into and out of the router. And then a look at hostname explains how to change the hostname on Cisco. And then chapter 8 uh, tackles about the introducing the routing, including the IP, including the IP or step by step, and including the overview of the different processes that take place when the hostname attempts to communicate with the host of another. In chapter 9, this is the purpose of the network traffic. It is include the order which is the access list and evaluated the different types of access lists that as well as the different ways in which access lists are applied to router interface. And then the chapter 10 including the or tackles about the Cisco router booted or can be booted ROM monitor mode, the F or the TFTP server, and also the chapter and troubleshooting in the purpose of having a password or recovery storing missing or corrupted iOS image. The configuration register failed. And last, in this the chapter 11, introducing the or introducing the one technologies, including how they map the lowest three layers of the OSM model, and having a point-to-point or least line connections, having encapsulation, routers, point-to-point links, and a lot of more. So this is the summary of the chapter 1 of chapter 1 to 11, and I hope you understand what it is. Thank you for watching.